Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Welcome back to my channel, and thank you guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your day today, guys. I so appreciate it. I got a few videos that I'm working on, like I promised, and I've got a few people that want to do some interviews with me, and a few people I'd like to do some interviews with. So I am hoping that that will happen, and we can bring some stuff to the channel that you guys will really appreciate. I'm hoping for. Guys, please like, subscribe, and share. That's the currency on the internet. Guys, thank you for those that were part of my live yesterday morning. It was a little impromptu, but I wanted to try to, set some things straight. Listen, this is the internet. There are a lot of people. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay true to me. And that's what I'm going to do. Because at the end of the day, I have to answer to me. So that's what I'm going to do with that. Guys, Sarah Boone, a lot of you, I got a lot of good response to the Sarah Boone video I put out. Because I guess a few of you guys didn't know that I used to work inside of a jail. And I actually had been inside of a prison several times because, long story, but I owned a company that sold to prisons. And I dealt directly with the inmates when it came to that, with the trustees in the prisons. But in the jail, I worked for the jail, and that was the Arlington County Jail. And then towards the end, I also worked at the Alexandria County Jail, and that was in Virginia. And that was a long time ago, before inmates walked around with ID cards. Seriously. Because they didn't have them, guys. They didn't have them. Guys, so not only didn't they have ID cards, but they didn't have kiosks. Like, they literally had to wait to use the phone, and they got, I think, 2 20-minute phone calls once every other day or 3 times a week, if I remember. The commissary sheet was one piece of paper. And I mean, it was like an 8 by 11, I want to say, or maybe 8 by 14. It was nothing like it is today. It was nothing like it is today. And I worked in the old jail, which was not an open jail system, which is like these open pods, and then there's cell blocks like against the wall. This was like the old school ones with the bars and stuff, as opposed to the newer jails. Don't have bars as much as they have like glass, and steel. So yeah, things were quite different. Things were very, very different back in the day when I worked, and as things are today. Very interesting. For sure, though. Very, very interesting. I'll also tell you this, and I've shared the story with you about the inmate that we had that got out of jail in winter, threw a brick across the street to get back in jail because he liked the 3 meals a day and having a warm place, and he didn't have much of a life outside. Sarah Boone had made a comment like that, that it's probably going to be easier for her. And that's not the way it should be, because things are really friggin' hard out here, and there are people that aren't committing crimes. So that's something that really we should think about, when it comes to jail reform and prison reform. It's also important to understand that they used to call where I worked the Arlington Hilton. Yep, they called the jail the Arlington Hilton. Might have been because it came from, the old jail. But yeah, that's not right either. But this is something that Sarah Boone, I'm sure, has considered when she made a comment like she did about it being easier, probably easier for her there, with everything included. So now, Sarah Boone, here's the thing about Sarah Boone, her son. When we make decisions, we have to sometimes think that there's other people that are involved in the decision making, because they're going to be affected by it in the peripheral. Somebody who should have never been in the peripheral of this was her son. Sarah has a son who she is clearly going to miss milestones. And maybe, just perhaps, she knew better. And maybe she realized she was better off without being in his life. But I would hope that she would have told him that, because how must he feel knowing that she could have been out in about 8 years, but she rolled the dice, and I'll never see her in the free world again. That's what her son is going to be saying when he gets married, when he has children, when he graduates high school and college and all this stuff. All the milestones that Sarah said, no, based on principle alone. And the principle wasn't even there, because Sarah at any given time could have left. She could have left George. It makes no sense that Sarah Boone, who locked up George in the suitcase, left enough room for him to get out, and then went upstairs and went to sleep when she was so fucking afraid of him. So she says. She says that she was petrified of him. So how does she leave enough room? And she says, I left enough room for him to get out, and I went upstairs. That doesn't... What do you mean? But you were afraid. What is this hide and seek where you guys know where you're at? New. Those are the new rules of hide and seek. How about the video where she's laughing at him and he's begging to come out? Guys, they were horrible to each other. But I honestly believe that Sarah was a lot more physical than George. And that she played a game with him. A game because she's broken. She has been broken. You know, she has an ex-husband and a son. And apparently 2 brothers, because I knew she had 1 brother, but apparently she has 2 brothers. One in prison and one in serving in the military. I think serving in the military, not in this country. Who's going to help Sarah Boone. She's going to have to... She'll be on welfare in the prison system. If she behaves, she might get a job where she can get a little bit of money to get a little bit of things. But they're not going to let you get dirty there. You know, they're not going to let you get lice and stuff. They're going to give you shit, soap, and just crap that you need. You know, cheap stuff that might make your skin break out and stuff like that. But, you know, Sarah having to tell her story was more important than anything else. Like, she didn't go back the day before this happened with George and go and hold a flag and say, nope, no woman should be abused. Nope, she waited until she unalived him in a suitcase to do that. So this big deal of trying to stand up for principle, it just doesn't really work, because she doesn't have the proof to back up that that's what it was about when she was a big part of the problem. So now I think she thinks she's going to be some sort of big deal in this big pond. There's like 1,000 inmates supposedly that this jail will hold. I don't know how many inmates are in the jail, but supposedly 1,000. So, I mean, the prison, I'm sorry, in Lowell. No air conditioning in Florida. This is like the Ocala area, I believe. So kind of not a lot of breeze going on there. No ocean breezes. So, you know, and just not a nice place. And her voice is just going to get lost. And she thinks she's going to offer things to the inmates. The inmates aren't going to see that the same way Sarah sees it. She's not. She's going to be put in her place. She's going to have problems there because she needs an adjustment with attitude, and that's going to happen there because the deputies might have no, patience. The inmates have half of what the deputies have. There is not a lot of time for error there, and there is nothing that makes her of value to anybody there. It certainly isn't her law experience, right? Because she kissed away 15 years and did life. And it's not because she loves her kid, because she kissed him goodbye on principle per se. No, I don't know what this woman was thinking of, but I just think maybe this is just the easiest way for her to live. And when she said that might just be true, It's a horrible thing for her child. But I don't know, guys. You know, she's in for it. She's going to get what they call welfare there. Just stuff that's going to make it so that she doesn't get head lice and stuff. She still could probably get it. But, you know, just stuff to keep her clean. And she might get a few stamps to write letters. But, you know, she's not going to get much of anything in 3 meals. 3 cops and a squat. You know, she can go ahead and act like she's doing all this and she's righteous and it was... she didn't take the 15 years because she didn't want to admit to whatever the lesser charge was, and that this was all about, you know, being a victim. But again, she held that flag up a little bit too late and wanted everybody to jump on her bandwagon when unfortunately she was a drunk that appeared to bully her boyfriend, as well as possibly be bullied by him. You know, there was fighting on both sides, but alcohol helped in that situation, and she didn't have the sense to stop, and she turned around and blamed him for it all the time. She never took any responsibility, you know, throughout the whole trial. And that's something that I think that her kid's going to notice, and hopefully in time Sarah will notice. I don't know what good it's going to do her, you know. Anyway, guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Tell me what you think in the comments, please. And I appreciate you guys. Please know, I honestly appreciate you, all of you. I thank you so much for your support. And we might not always agree, and that's okay. And you might not always stay people that subscribe to the channel. But while you're here now, I appreciate you being here. I really do. Thanks, guys. Bye. Be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Always be kind.